Our story begins with young Charlie Bucket, a sweet and humble boy living in a tiny house with his loving family. Life isn't easy for Charlie. His home is a rickety, crooked little place where he shares a single room with his parents and four bedridden grandparents. For elderly folks all crammed into one bed. But despite their hardships, the Bucket family is rich in love and kindness. They may not have much to eat, but their warmth and support for each other are truly inspiring. Now, here's where things get interesting. One day, the world is thrown into a frenzy when Willy Wonka, the legendary but mysterious chocolate maker, makes a jaw-dropping announcement. He has hidden 5 golden tickets in Wonka bars around the globe. These tickets are the keys to a once-in-a-lifetime tour of his factory, a place no outsider has entered in years. People from every corner of the world scramble to buy Wonka bars, hoping to win a golden ticket. And so begins the wildest treasure hunt you've ever seen. We meet our first ticket winner, Augustus Gloop, a boy whose love for food knows no bounds. Hailing from Germany, Augustus spends his days eating anything he can get his hands on. And guess what? While chowing down on a Wonka bar, he stumbles upon the first golden ticket. Cameras swarm his home, and Augustus proudly shows off his prize. His parents couldn't be prouder, though you can't help but wonder, will his appetite get him into trouble at the factory? Next up is Veruca Salt, a girl whose middle name might as well be demanding. Veruca comes from an incredibly wealthy family in England, and her father will do anything to keep her happy. He buys truckloads of Wonka bars and even hires his factory workers to unwrap them non-stop until they finally find a golden ticket. Veruca's reaction? A classic tantrum until the ticket is handed to her. It's clear this spoiled girl is used to getting her way, but little does she know, life doesn't always bend to her will. Moving on, we meet Violet Beauregard, a fierce and competitive girl from the United States. Violet is obsessed with chewing gum, so much so that she holds the world record for chewing the same piece of gum for months. She takes a break from her gum-chewing routine, grabs a Wonka bar, and voila! She finds a golden ticket. Violet and her equally competitive mother are thrilled. The two bask in the limelight, but their arrogance might just be their undoing. Charlie's family had saved enough to buy him 1 bar of Wonka chocolate. The chocolate bar was neatly wrapped. His grandparents, parents, and Charlie all huddled close as he peeled back the wrapper with trembling hands. Layer by layer, the foil came off, revealing the smooth chocolate underneath. But there was no golden ticket. Charlie appeared okay, but the look in his eyes told the truth. His family, trying to cheer him up, reminded him how lucky he was to even have the chocolate to eat. That night, Charlie broke the bar into small pieces and shared it with everyone. Still, the dream didn't leave him. Then there's Mike TV, a boy who is glued to his screens. Whether it's television or video games, Mike is completely obsessed with technology. While munching on a Wonka bar during one of his TV binges, he stumbles upon a golden ticket. Mike sees the factory tour as another adventure to feed his screen-fueled fantasies, though his indifferent parents don't seem too thrilled. You can't help but wonder, what happens when someone this obsessed with screens enters a world of pure imagination? A few days later, as the frenzy over the contest grew louder, Grandpa Joe called Charlie over to his side. Reaching under his pillow, he pulled out a single coin, a precious bit of money he had been saving for who knows how long. He offers the money to Charlie to go and buy another bar of chocolate. Charlie is hesitant at first, but he eventually took the money and ran her off to buy another bar. When Charlie returned, they tore into the wrapper together, hearts pounding with hope. But just like before, the golden ticket wasn't there. It was only chocolate. They both looked disappointed, but Grandpa continued to cheer Charlie. Even though the disappointments, they both still had hope. As the hunt continues, it seems like all the tickets are gone. But then, fate steps in. Our boy Charlie finds a dollar bill buried in the snow. Instead of splurging, he buys a Wonka bar. And guess what? The final golden ticket is his. You can feel his excitement leap off the screen as he rushes home to share the news with his family. His Grandpa Joe, who's been bedridden for years, is so overjoyed that he jumps out of bed, ready to join Charlie on this incredible journey. And now, the factory tour begins. The gates to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory swing open, revealing a world beyond imagination. Chocolate rivers, edible grass, candy trees. Everything is a feast for the senses. Willy Wonka himself, played by Johnny Depp, is a quirky, enigmatic character who keeps everyone guessing. His peculiar mannerisms and sharp wit add a layer of intrigue as he guides the children and their guardians through this wonderland. The first stop is the Chocolate River Room, a magical wonderland, with a river and waterfall made entirely of chocolate. Lush edible grasses covered the ground, and candy trees and flowers filled the space. Augustus Gloop, true to form, can't resist diving in, despite Wonka's warnings. Chaos ensues as Augustus is sucked into a giant pipe and sent to the fudge room. The Oompa Loompas, tiny workers with big personalities, break into a song about the perils of gluttony. Their catchy tunes are both entertaining and educational, leaving us with a moral to chew on. Pun intended. Next, we visit the Inventing Room, a chaotic laboratory filled with bizarre and whimsical candy-making machines. Here, Wonka introduced the group to his latest invention, the everlasting gobstopper and the chewing gum meal. Violet Beauregard, ever the daredevil, ignores Wonka's warnings and tries an experimental piece of gum. She turns into a giant blueberry. She is being rolled away to the juicing room. Again, the Oompa Loompas step in with a song, this time cautioning us about the dangers of overconfidence and ignoring advice. Then comes the Nut Room, a sparkling room with rows of trained squirrels cracking and sorting nuts. Veruca Salt, convinced she deserves one of the squirrels, demands Wonka hand one over. When she tries to grab one, the squirrels declare her a bad nut and send her down the garbage chute. Her father follows, and both learn the hard way that entitlement has its limits. Cue another delightful Oompa Loompa song. Finally, we reach the TV room, a stark white room where Wonka demonstrated how he could transmit a giant chocolate bar through television, where Mike TV's obsession with screens leads to his downfall. He insists on trying Wonka's new invention, which teleports objects through television waves. But when Mike tries it himself, he's shrunken to a tiny size. His parents have to take him to the taffy pulling room to be stretched back to normal. The Oompa Loompas deliver their final lesson. Too much screen time isn't good for anyone. Through all the chaos of the factory tour, Charlie remained kind, humble, and true to himself. Unlike the other children, his excitement was genuine, and his heart never wavered. The final part of the tour took Charlie and Grandpa Joe aboard the Great Glass Elevator, which could move in every direction, up, down, sideways, and even out of the factory itself. The Great Glass Elevator soared high above the factory, offering a breathtaking view of the sprawling candy world below. Charlie, Grandpa Joe, and Willy Wonka stood inside, their reflections shimmering on the glass walls. In the elevator, Willy Wonka revealed the truth behind the golden ticket contest. It was a test to find someone worthy of inheriting the factory. Charlie's unwavering goodness had set him apart, making him the perfect choice. The moment seemed like a dream come true, but it came with a condition. He would have to leave his family behind to live and work in the factory. Charlie, being Charlie, refused the offer since he would have to abandon his family. For a moment, Wonka was speechless. No one had ever turned down his offer before. He frowned in wonder as he walks back into his elevator. The elevator descended in silence, and soon, Charlie and Grandpa Joe found themselves back at the gates of the factory. Wonka didn't say goodbye. He simply disappeared into the shadows, the gates closing behind him. Life returned to normal for Charlie, though he couldn't stop thinking about Wonka. The man had seemed so lonely, so lost in his world of candy and inventions. Charlie couldn't help but wonder if turning down the offer had hurt him. One cold evening, there was a knock at the Bucket family's door. When Charlie opened it, he found Willy Wonka standing there, his tall hat in hand. His expression was softer now, almost apologetic, and he regrets his actions earlier, and now Charlie can be with his family. Charlie stepped aside, inviting him in. The little house was cramped and warm, filled with the chatter and laughter of his family. Wonka looked around, taking in the sight of their togetherness. From that day forward, the factory wasn't just a magical place of candy and wonders. It became a home for Charlie and his family. And for Wonka, it was the start of something he had never truly known: belonging. Thanks for joining us on this magical adventure. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Cinema Recap for more enchanting movie moments. Until next time, stay sweet and keep dreaming big. Now I want you to comment what movie I should recap next.